hire top tier quality salespeople. I've been in business for 12 to 15 years. I've been a salesperson, I've been a sales manager, I've been a sales lead, and I've had to hire over 1,000 salespeople. And being a sales professional myself, these are the 5 things that I do to make sure that I get top tier quality salespeople. And it's not easy. If you're banging your head into a wall or having a hard time finding quality salespeople, you're not alone. It's tough. It's probably one of the toughest things that you can do in a business is hiring salespeople. You're not alone. It is incredibly hard, and one of the reasons that I find it so hard, and now that I've made it easy, but found it hard in the past, is it doesn't matter what the resume says. It truly doesn't. They can come from Salesforce, and one of the best gigs in the nation. They can come from a random spot you never heard of. They could have no sales experience. They could have sales experience. They could be young. They could be old. It just really depends on how they are on the phone or in person. That's what I found. And so there are little things that I look for when hiring a salesperson, like do they have a heartbeat? Do they seem like they want to go the distance? But in all reality, we're really not going to know until they actually get in front of a customer and can see if they can close and see what you're working with. And so that's what I'm going to go over. And some people think, oh, you got to have a clean slate, or you got to have a guy that's been seasoned, or somewhere in the middle. It's really not true. It's kind of a crapshoot. We're just not going to know until we hear them perform. So I want to make sure before I go over these 5 things that I do that we're not poaching. And I've done poaching in the past. It does work pretty well. Like I would say 75% of the time, if you're poaching within the industry and getting their Rolodex or getting obviously their experience, that does work. But unfortunately, what I found with poaching is it only gets you so far. And I like to hire green, or I like to hire people that I can train up, regardless of what walk of life or background they have. It all depends and comes down on the person. So step 1 is the most important step, and this is going to lead to how successful you are. And so step 1 is you have to hold an interview, obviously. And so what I like to do in this process is a quick to hire, quick to fire, which is something I'll get to later on, but a whole group interview. So I'll go on Indeed, ZipRecruiter, websites like this, and I will let them know. I want to make sure they self-disqualify before even walking into my office, because I want to get rid of as much trash as I can, as much people that can't sell or don't really want to sell, or it's not for them. I don't want them in my group interview. So I'll get their information, and half the time, let's be honest, I really don't read resumes at all. We're just not going to know until they're on the phone or in person, in front of a customer. So what I'll do is I'll send out a message. I'll give them the company website. I'll tell them that it's a grind. I'll tell them that it is high pressure sales. It is long hours. There is a light at the end, but it may not be for them. And I'll give them some information on my company so they know who we are, what we do, what we sell, and I'll let them know the way to get in is a group interview. And the group interviews at this time, and please confirm. And so I would say out of 100, 30 will reply saying, yes, this looks good, I'm going to come in. Out of those 30, I'll get 10 to 15 people that come into my office. And instead of me describing, because let's face it, like you're starting a business or own a business, I own multiple businesses, and so I'm excited about what we do. I have people making almost $1 million a year with me. It's insane. And so of course I want to tell them that, but I don't lead with that when we get to the group interview. I lead with how hard it is, because these people that are making good money in my organizations, they had to put in the work. Sometimes a year, 2, 3 years, they had to put in the work. They had to make the phone calls. They had to have the long nights. They had to bang their freaking head into the wall. I get it. And so I would be doing these 10 to 15 people a disservice if they show up and I paint them a fairy tale. 100%. I'm not there to sell them on working for me. I'm there to unsell them. I'm there to disqualify them, because I want people that understand what it's going to take. And so the first 15 minutes of that group interview, I'm going to go over how hard it is, the long hours. I'm going to go over the rejection. I'm going to go over, because it's phone sales. My business is mainly phone sales. I'm going to go over just how many competitors there are. I'm going to paint a clear picture of exactly what they're signing up for. In the last couple minutes, I will tell them about my senior reps. And sometimes I'll have them come in and talk to them about how it was for them. Because again, I want people to leave. I want people to leave. And I kind of say that in the group interview process. I say, look, no disrespect. If at any point this doesn't feel like it's a good fit for you, you can absolutely leave. That's totally fine. Respect. I'm not here to waste your time. Hopefully you're not here to waste my time. And people have left. They have left. And so I break it up into 2 parts, because some people, they're too shy to leave. Me, I kind of given up on being shy. I just leave or speak my mind. But whatever. That's the first 15 to 20 minutes. Then I do speed dating, which gives an opportunity for people to leave. Typically 10 to 20% of those people leave. So we're down to 7 or 8, maybe 9. And I do speed dating. And so the only thing I'm really looking for when I'm talking to these people is I want to get their honest feedback on the job, and I want to hear where they're at. So one at a time I'll go and talk to them for about 5 minutes. The standard questions: do you have means of transportation? Have you sold before? What do you think of this job? Have you done the research? What do you think of my speech? And I'll get that information. And from there I'll decide if I think they'll be a good fit. And let's face it, 90% of the people I hire, because I'm just not going to know. If something stands out at me, like it might stand out at you, which makes them totally unqualified for the job, and it's hard to explain these types of things because you're going to know in the moment, like, I live 3 hours away, I have no money, whatever, like certain things are like, I don't know if this is going to work. And even then, sometimes I give an opportunity because I want to get them on the phone for at least 21 to 30 days to see how they operate. And so I'll hire most of them. And let's say out of the 7 to 9, I hire 6. The following Monday, 3 to 5 will show up. It's just how it is. And out of those 3 to 5, the first week, 1 or 2 will drop off. So you're left with, let's call it 2 to 4 people. So 2 to 4 people I'll put on the phone, and they have to start opening deals before they can close their own deals. Now we're getting into step 2. Step 2 is I want to give them 21 to 30 days, and I want to train them to the best of my ability. So I have a training program, I have an SOP that I've used, I've rinsed, washed, and repeated with all my salespeople, and I will train them for 72 hours. And part of that training is having them shadow people that are doing very well that came before them. Take all their notes. On the third day, I will get with them and ask, hey, how did the training go? Do you have any questions? Do you have any tools that we might have missed that we need to give to you? Is there anything holding you back? Is there any questions that you have? And typically there are some questions, obviously, and so you answer those questions, get them back out on the floor to shadow for a while longer, and they come back, and a lot of time they're itching to go, they're ready. And so then we'll put them on the phones. And that's step 2. Step 3, I want to listen. We're getting into quick to hire, quick to fire. So now I want to hear them. Now, if they do something wrong or bad, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to fire them at this stage, but I am going to watch them for the next 5 days. The next 5 days are huge on if they're going to make it for the rest of the month or not. So I will listen. I'll have my managers listen. I'll help direct their speaking, direct their pitch as needed. Now, the thing about opening is it doesn't require a lot, but it gives me a lot of insight on the person. Basically, what opening a deal is, if you don't know, is I like an opener closer system, which I can make another video on. But an opener closer system is you have someone out calling leads, and a lot of our leads are lukewarm, which is great because we do a lot of marketing. Our industry is pretty small and connected, and they just qualify the lead. Do they have the money to buy? Can we create a need? And are they the buyer? That's really the 3 things they need. And they get to do a closer. And I've instructed them at this point to get it to a closer. And if they want to close, they have to go listen and take notes and ask the closer questions. And I have a list of closers that have done good from the previous week. That's basically step 3. So after those 5 days, if we've helped them, trained them, they're still not doing good, I cut them. If there's no 4 progressions, I cut them. So that 2 to 4, now let's say we're down to 1 to 3, and these guys now have, let's call it 15, 17 days left. And so I'll continue to listen, but not quite as much. This is where I get into step 4, and step 4 is when I set expectations. I get with them and I say, look, you've been here for about a week to 9 days. Let me tell you how much it costs in your seat and what I need from you. Your seat costs me $8,000 a month, and so what I need from you is I need by the end of the month, I need to show that you've either made a ton of transfer calls or you've covered your seat, either or. You have to the end of 30 days to do that. And so I'm very upfront with that fact, and now they have a goal that they have to hit. And so this is where, over the next few weeks, people either remove themselves, or I have to remove them, or they make it. That's really it. They make it or break it. And so a lot of times, those 1 to 3 you have, another one will drop out in the middle of this because the pressure is just too high. Which again, I'm not creating a ton of pressure on them. I'm just giving them, from day one, I'm giving them realistic expectations of what I want. And to be honest with you, the people that I want on my team, I ask them a very simple question. The question is, if I had a shuffle with me right now and I had $100,000 buried in my backyard, what time tomorrow would you want to start digging? Now think about that question for a second. I'm asking you. If I had $100,000 buried in my backyard right now and I have shovels ready to go, what time tomorrow do you want to start digging? The correct answer is right now. But a lot of people that don't have as much urgency, they'll say like 9 a.m., 8 a.m. But people I want on my team will say, I want to go right now. I want to go the distance. Another good question is, how much money do you want to make this year? And some people, they don't know. Some people you got to mold. And so you have to watch all the questions you ask, because some people just don't don't know the answers to these questions. And that's okay, but these are good indicators. So how much money do you want to make this year? The answer I'm looking for is as much as possible. But people that haven't made that kind of money, including myself 15 years ago, that I hadn't made $100,000 in a year in my life, I wouldn't know how to answer that question. But some people, they know how to answer it, and they say as much as possible. But some people that only made $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, they'll say 100, 200, which is good. But I want to get them into urgency mindset. I want to get them in the closing mindset. I want to get them into the how do I make as much money as possible. And so that's step 4. They start blowing themselves out. And step 5, basically rinse, wash, and repeat. You're coming to the end of the cycle, the end of the 30 days, where you probably have 1 or 2 left. They've made it, and you have to rinse, wash, and repeat. And so what that means is you go back to step 1. You reevaluate the people you hired, you go back to step 1, you set up another group interview, and you have another group interview again. And that is how I bring in new salespeople into my organization. And so just to give you an idea, I've hired over 1,000 salespeople the last decade and a half. And out of those 1,000, I would say 80 have been exceptional. So what is that, almost 1%? So you have to hire 100 is what I say. To hire 100 to get 1 to 3 amazing salespeople and 3 to 10 that are pretty remarkable. And so everybody else in the middle will be mediocre, okay, whatever. And so it's our job to filter. And again, I haven't found a better way. I'm always searching, but I've hired people with amazing, amazing resumes. I've hired people with no resume at all. I've hired people in cargo shorts and a beat up t-shirt, and they sell better than the guy with the amazing resume coming from an executive sales job. So this is the method that I've used, and I have found amazing salespeople that have stuck with me for a decade using this method. And that's my vlog. And so if you enjoy my vlogs, if you enjoy me, every 100,000 subscribers, I give away a car. We're approaching 300,000 subscribers. How that works is I want to fly you out to California. One of my businesses, we do, car customization. I want to pick out a wrap and spec it with you. Easy to join. All you have to do is enable notifications, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know you're in it to win it. Thank you. See you next time.